This summer was the most chaotic free agency in NBA history, and I'm here to recap it in 5 minutes. This is Into Sports. I'm Evan, and timer, start now. Let's start in the West. Kawhi Leonard signs with the Clippers, and Paul George, convinced by Kawhi Leonard to request a trade to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now they have a super team. You look at their defensive roster: Patrick Beverley, who they signed to an extension, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Montrezl Harrell. This is going to be one of the greatest defensive teams the NBA has seen, and they instantly become the new favorite to win it all this year. Paul George leaving means Russell Westbrook is alone in Oklahoma City and is probably going to get traded before this next season. I look at Miami, I look at Detroit and Minnesota as the three main candidates. I think Miami really wants to get him. Detroit also wants to get him. Now Minnesota and Gerson Rosas, they pursued D'Angelo Russell, so I expect them to do the same with Russell Westbrook to pair alongside Karl Anthony Towns. The Warriors may have lost Kevin Durant, but they acquired D'Angelo Russell in a sign and trade with Brooklyn. They had to give up a first round pick. They had to dump Iguodala's salary to Memphis, and they signed D'Angelo Russell to 4 years, $117 million, but he looks like a trade piece to me. The Warriors have a championship culture. D'Angelo Russell tried to sneak weed in a bottle on a plane. Who does that? That doesn't exactly scream championship culture to me. Also, he's a bad defender. Steph Curry is also a terrible defender. How are you going to have your backcourt both miserable defenders? So what they'll do is at the All-Star break, he's going to average about 23 points a game. They're going to talk about how great he was off the court and how much he's grown up. They're going to fatten up the pig, then they're going to ship him out. Thompson's going to come back from the injury, and they're going to try to make a playoff push. So D'Angelo Russell, because they acquired him cheap, because he doesn't fit their system, they're going to ship him out. And it's actually going to work out because they're going to end up getting more for them than they had to give up to receive him. The Lakers may have missed out on Kawhi Leonard, their dream signing, but they managed to acquire Danny Green, DeMarcus Cousins, Avery Bradley, Quinn Cook, and a few more guys. I like the roster that they have. Veterans, savvy veterans. I don't know how it's going to work out in the locker room. They also brought back Rondo. It's going to really stir up a little bit. But LeBron James is simply a different animal. That's why they are the championship favorites in my mind. You also have Anthony Davis. You also have DeMarcus Cousins, who I think could come back. If he can come back off the injury, I think he can work well with this group. They brought in shooting, Danny Green, Quinn Cook, defending, Avery Bradley. So I actually kind of like this Lakers roster, although it's very weird. Portland is another team that's going to go all in next year, signing Damian Lillard to a Supermax extension, trading for Hassan Whiteside because their center, Yusuf Nurkic, is going to be out for all next year. Portland is really trying to break through, but a team that I think will break through is the Utah Jazz. I think they could win the West in the regular season, not in the playoffs, because in the playoffs, you need to have those bona fide stars: LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. They don't have one of those guys. But they traded for Mike Conley earlier in the offseason, and they acquire Bojan Bogdanovic, 4 years, $85 million. This gives them shooting that they lacked, why they lost to the Houston Rockets in the first round last year. So now they can shoot it, they can defend, and they have multiple playmakers on the court at all times. I really like the Utah Jazz as a potential team that could get the number 1 seed in the West, although I don't see them winning the West and going to the finals. Alright, now let's transition to the East, where we have the defending world champions, the Toronto Raptors. They lose Kawhi Leonard. I see them as a 4 to 5 seed that's going to make the playoffs. It's going to be like pre-DeRozan. They still have Siakam. Gasol opts into his contract. They're going to be a 4 to 5 seed. They're probably going to win maybe the first round, probably get bounced in the second round, and they're just going to be mediocre. They had a chance to go all in and acquire Paul George for Van Fleet, Siakam, and 4 first-round picks, but Masai Ujiri says, I don't want to give it my whole future to try to run it back and add Paul George. I think I agree with his decision. That would have been a real risk, though. They don't take it. Philadelphia loses Jimmy Butler. They signed Al Horford. They got back Josh Richardson, who I really, really like, in exchange for Butler. The problem they have is the problem they had last year. They don't have a closer. Without Jimmy Butler, Who's going to take the shots at the end of games? Ben Simmons cannot shoot it. Joel Embiid is always tired, and he's a forward. Forwards don't win you games in the clutch. Their closer is going to be Tobias Harris or Josh Richardson. That does not sound like a championship closer to me. I don't think they can win the East because of that. The other team at the top of the East is the Milwaukee Bucks, who signed Chris Middleton 5 years, $178 million. They overpaid to him, in my opinion, although they can't typically attract free agents because of the market they are in, so they may have had to do it. And now they have 2 years to convince Giannis Antetokounmpo to stay, as he will be a free agent in 2 years. They traded Malcolm Brogdon in a sign-and trade to Indiana. They got a first-round pick back, but he's one of the key pieces of their team, a 50-40-90 club member, one of the only ones. He's a sharpshooter, he's a great defender, and losing him is extremely key, and it limits their ceiling. When you consider the loss of Brogdon, when you consider Giannis does not have a jump shot, I see them as a pretender, not a contender. The team that Malcolm Brogdon signs with, the Indiana Pacers, I see them as a 3-seed candidate if Victor Oladipo comes back and he's about 85% or better from his quad injury. They have Brogdon. They did lose Bogdanovich, which I think hurts, but they signed Jeremy Lamb. I think their free agency, they lost pieces, they gained pieces. I think it was better than worse. So I like their team a lot, especially with Victor Oladipo hopefully coming back. I know we're over the time limit, but we have to talk about Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving signing in Brooklyn. They'll be probably a 6th seed in the East this year with Kyrie leading the team, just like they were with D'Angelo Russell leading the team. They'll be very similar. But in 2 years, when Durant's healthy, I think he'll be 85. But the problem is, they're in the New York media, they're in Brooklyn. Kevin Durant, sensitive, injured. Kyrie Irving left LeBron James, left Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge in a great situation in Boston. Didn't play well in the playoffs last year. I see the Nets as maybe a finals candidate in 2 years, but it's all going to be on Durant, and it's going to be how they can coexist, Durant and Irving together. And if they have those ears out listening to people talk about them, that could hurt them. If you did enjoy, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you want to see next. NBA, NFL, give me a topic, I'll do it. Leave a like on the video. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm Hero7. I'm out. Peace.